spent 10 years in the military as a naval intelligence officer. I got out to go to law school. I would have probably stayed in the military had I been able to be a naval lawyer. But because I was intelligence, they spend a lot of money on your schooling, so they don't let you laterally transfer. So to stay in the military, I would have had to have continued to be a naval intelligence officer, which was great, but I always had a passion to be a civil rights advocate. After law school, I opened up a law firm in my hometown, which is really great, but it was a small hometown. My partner and I, we were doing pretty well there, but like most people, we thought the grass was greener to move to a bigger city, which would have been Orlando. We started out in Sanford. With that, we sold our building in Sanford and we moved to the big city. In the move to the big city, we rented from a person who ended up being investigated by IRS. The building got seized. All our stuff got seized. We lost all our money. We didn't have a place to practice. My partner ended up going back home to Miami, and our dream kind of fell apart. Well, I'm a big advocate of being silent in a moment when you don't know what to do. So sometimes when you don't know what to do, you just say, "Peace, be still," and you just figure it out. So what I did after the dream fell apart, I actually took the money that I had and went on vacation and just thought about stuff and thought about where I was going to go, what I was going to do next. I prayed for guidance and leadership. When I came back, I was pretty much out of money. I had to figure out what to do. A friend of mine offered me a job with his law firm. Once I went to his law firm, within the first month of that law firm, I got the biggest case of my career so far. It was a plane crash. And during that time, we were doing personal injury. So that plane crash, I actually represented the person who died in that plane crash was my old paralegal. And so I represented her husband and her daughter in the case. It ended up settling. So it allowed me to start the law firm that I have now, which is the Women's Trial Group, the money from that case. And more importantly, it allowed me to make sure that her little girl, who was 4 years old at the time, was taken care of for the rest of her life. So I think that was the blessing, and kind of just being still and just letting God guide you. I think having that big case where we made a lot of money was a blessing, because it made me realize that really money isn't everything. I didn't feel different once I had money. I thought, coming from a place where, I never really had a lot of money, I thought once I got money, it would make you feel different or whatever. But then I realized that it doesn't. So from there, I think it was a freedom and a release to be able to say, when in my business, I'm going to do what just feels good and what makes me happy. So now with the Women's Trial Group, we take a lot of cases that don't make money. Our clients don't have money. But we do have to take some cases that make money just to keep the doors open. But the reward comes from helping people. And I think that is that's the blessing, and that's what makes you want to do it. The best cases that I have and the best time of my life in business is when we're doing a case that I feel so passionately about, and when we see the results that we want from that case. Working on Trayvon Martin, I think, was a bittersweet blessing. Of course, it didn't have the outcome that we wanted. We represented the family. We represented Tracy and Sabrina, who were his parents. But in not having the outcome that we wanted, there was a blessing there too, because Sabrina and Tracy, as you know, they've gone on for the last 4 years and have been huge advocates for parents against senseless violence. And I think with that, I had the blessing of working with Ben Crump and working with Sabrina, Tracy, all the people that were involved in that. And we've become a family. So we're all still involved in the Trayvon Martin Foundation. We all still support each other. And so I think, once again, when we're talking about overcoming stuff or not, sometimes you don't get what you want, you get something greater. And I think, as far as the verdict, we didn't get what we wanted on the verdict. But I think the advocacy and the life the lives that Sabrina touches and Tracy touches and Ben touches and I touch, I think that's much greater. That's a greater gift than the verdict would have been. I believe in living a life of gratitude because I look around me and I see that, even when I'm down, I can just look around and see the situation of other people. I can see the homeless man on the street. I can see the person who has a mental illness that no one knows about, that becomes drug dependent, or all of those other issues. I see the child who doesn't have a parent that loves them. And I just think about the blessings that I have, because I have all of that. I have parents who love me. I have a roof over my head. I have, food to eat. And I think there's just blessing in that. When I turn on the water, it's amazing that we can turn on our water in a sink and we've got fresh, clean water. I think that is hugely amazing when you've been to other countries. And because I was in the military, I've been to other countries and I've seen, children. And I'm talking, preschool kids who live on the street and have no one to take care of them. So I think a part of surviving your angst, and everyone's angst it's valid. So I would not try to downplay anyone and how they feel, because everyone's feeling, no matter who you are, rich, poor, whatever, your feelings are valid. But in surviving that angst, I think that sometimes just be still and take an inventory of everything that you have. And I promise you, if you do that, you'll find that you have more than a lot of other people. The keys to my success has been being still in moments of chaos, evaluating all the blessings that I have in life, even when I feel like I don't have any, and looking at it and thinking, wow, I have more than I ever thought that I would ever have, and then moving from there.